Okay, so it's time to continue our look into the 129 grain Nosler Accubond in 6.5 Grendel. The last video, we tested out IMR 4166 and AR comp. And the results were slightly disappointing, but not horrible. Our average group was probably, I haven't done the math, probably like 1.3, 1.4 inches was kind of our average group here. But we had a couple stinkers, like there's a 2.11 inch group. So not terrible, but not great. If you haven't seen that video, I'll add a link at the end or up in the corner somewhere. But I'm going to assume you've already seen that. So you know that the Nosler Accubond, I'm getting ready to go on a hog hunt next month. And this is the bullet I want to use in the 6.5 Grendel. Pretty sweet bullet. We're using the same brass, Hornady brass. It's been fired a couple times using CCI BR4 primers. I've already primed the brass. It is ready for powder and bullets. So this is going to be pretty darn quick, and we should be on the range here shortly. Today's powders are going to be Hodgdon CFE 223. Very good velocity powder for 6.5 Grendel. Expect to get some fast velocities with this guy. So CFE 223 and Ramshot TAC are the powders we're going to shoot today. Both of these powders have got load data from Nosler. And for CFE 223, they show a range of 29 to 31 grains. Really good case fill. That's one great thing about Nosler's data is they show the load density. The starting charge of 29, they show load density of 102%. And 31 grains, it's the max, is 109%. So this is going to be nicely compressed. Really good velocities. And I suspect that compressed load will probably end up showing some good accuracy. There was a commenter, Craig Black, in the last video, ran the numbers through the OBT method, the optimal barrel time, and he comes up with a number. He told me to make sure to test out 29.4 grains of CFE 223. So the OBT method is saying that's going to be an accurate load. So that's where we're going to start, is 29.4. And we're going to work our way up in 0.4 of a grain increments to 31, which is what Nosler shows as being max. So 29.4 up to 31.0. We're going to shoot an overall length of 2.260 with all of our loads. So that'll be our first 25 shots. The next 25 with Ramshot TAC. Nosler shows 27.5 as being max and 25.5 as being the starting charge. So we're going to shoot 25.9 up to 27.5 in 0.4 of a grain increments. Their max shows a low density of 98%, so not quite a full case. We'll see how these do. If we with CFE 223, they show a velocity of 25.07, and TAC they show 24.41. So we'll be testing to see what we get. We could probably push both of these powders a little bit farther, perhaps, but to start off with, we're going to stick with Nosler's data, shoot within that, and just see what we get. So that's pretty much it. I need to start weighing out some charges, and like I said, we'll be on the range in no time here. So are you 6.5 Grendel folks going to jump on the 22 Nosler? I'm having a hard time resisting. Because, like on Midway just got the barrels back in stock. You can get an 18-inch 22 Nosler barrel, AR Stoner Nosler barrel, for $104. $104.99 right now. I feel like that's the biggest problem with the Grendel is all the freaking barrels are still really expensive. Nobody's really come out with a good budget barrel that can get people into 6.5 Grendel really cheap. I don't really need 22 Nosler. My problem with 5.56 has never been like, oh man, I just wish I had more velocity. That's not my problem with 223. It's getting heavier bullets. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to try to resist the urge to buy a 22 Nosler barrel. But it sounds like they're doing it right. Like I think it'll be successful. Pretty impressive velocities. Yep, so as I mentioned, I am hand weighing all these charges. Just finishing up the 29.4 grain CFE 223 loads. My seating die is still set from last time. I'll probably back it off just a little bit because I can't remember if the last bullets I was seating were heavily compressed. It might be a little bit, yeah, that's the Grendel. Yeah, we'll back it off about 15 thousandths just for the heck of it. And find the right shell holder. .276. .261 on that one. Just run through a couple. Yeah, it looks like the only brass so far that's available for the 22 Nosler is Nosler. And it's not terribly pricey. 2.259. 2.259, so seating die looks good. So I don't know, I'm going to think about it some more. $105 is a pretty cheap entry though. It'd probably be fun to play with. So I want to think about it some more here. All right, so back to 6.5 Grendel. Yeah, I just got to weigh out these charges and seat these bullets. There's not going to be much interesting going on here, so I'll see you guys at the end. So I'm just finishing up, and I did run into a minor issue, or at least what I hope is going to be a minor issue. About 40 shots in, I had to open up a new box of bullets. And my overall length changed by 14 thousandths. Same seating die setting, but the overall length was 14 thousandths shorter. The tip of the bullet is a darker gray. Just looking, you know, the bullets themselves are the same overall length, but there's enough ogive difference to move my overall length by that 14 thousandths. So I'm not sure what to think here. I'll throw in like an up close picture. Sometimes on the video, I can see things later, you know, all zoomed in, then I can actually see with the naked eye. Maybe you guys can spot it, but these do appear to have a different ogive shape and definitely a different colored tip. So we'll see. And just for reference, once I realized I was seating some of them short, it's the second load of TAC. The 26.3 grain load of TAC are short. I just went ahead and finished that row with the short setting and then adjusted back out to my 2.260 for the last three. So I'll make note of it when we're shooting, and we'll make note of it whenever we're checking our groups later. But I thought that was interesting, and I'll be interested to see if we see some type of a major difference between our first 40 shots and the last 20 with the new bullet. Kind of sucks. So, all right, let's get out to the range. Okay, so we're finally on the range. I loaded this ammo like a week ago, but weather and stuff has been getting in my way. Today, I already had my my Caldwell chronograph out, so I'm not going to use the magneto speed. So all of you magneto speed haters can just take a day off. Put away the pitchforks, lower the blood pressure a little bit. So no magneto speed for you guys to complain about. Starting off with CFE 223, we are at 100 yards. So let's hope for a little bit better performance than we got in the last video. So 29.4 grains. Oh, and in the last video, I promised to grease my buffer spring so there wasn't so much spring noise. I never did that. So I lied to you, and I'm a horrible person, and you're going to have to listen to a bunch of springy noise again. Okay, so a bit of a mediocre start. I did warm up the gun before turning the camera on, put 10 rounds through it to make sure things were warmed up, and I had my eye in and my position ready and all of that stuff, so no excuses. Next up is 29.8 grains. .2. 30.6. 31 grains. Okay, so a couple of those were so low you probably can't see them. This is just awful. Like, I've never seen my gun shoot like this, including the last video. I think we may have just found a bullet that my gun really, really does not like. Huh. All right, let me move the camera and we'll move on to TAC. Okay, 25.9 grains of TAC. Okay, so we finally shot a halfway decent group. Of course, the velocity is super slow. All right, next up is 26.3 grains. This is the load where I switched bullet lot numbers, and these are about 15,000 short. So like 2.245. So let's see what happens. Okay, 26.7. That last shot on the last string didn't eject properly. I think I'm going to have to get a adjustable gas block for this guy. It is just so incredibly overgassed when I put the suppressor on that it's starting to do some funky stuff. Brass is kind of not ejecting very strong. So I think an adjustable gas block might be in order. All right, next up, 27.1. Okay, last up, 27.5. I'm gonna move the scope up a minute. Maybe we'll keep them on paper. But to be honest, even if I didn't move the camera low enough and you can't see the shots, you're not missing a whole lot. Just not shooting well. All right, let's get back into the bench and weep and complain. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. This is just awful. Just disgusting. Like the CFE 223, our first group was the best at 1.82 inches, and the worst were over 3 inches. Things were a little bit better with TAC. That first group was 0.93 inches. The worst was 2.06 inches. But, you know, we had a couple in that 1.5 inches. This is just bad. This is just awful. Velocities weren't bad. Like we got up to 2564 with CFE 223, and then we were only at 2400 with TAC. All right, so two videos ago, we shot the 123 grain Sierra Match King with benchmark and TAC. So with TAC, our worst group of the lot was 0.87 inches. This gun can shoot. This gun can absolutely shoot. So my freaking brain cannot comprehend this gun hating this bullet so much. Like it is really, really bad. Let's go back to the last video where we shot 4166 and AR comp. AR comp was our best shooter. So, you know, with AR comp, our worst group was 1.89 inches. And if we look at these top 3 groups, we were up around from 2464 to 2521. So that 2,500 feet per second range. And we were at about 1 inch. That might be what I need to do, is just stick with this. Maybe load up some more of these, verify it, make sure I'm not having any problems with my gun that I don't realize. Like maybe something's jacked up with my gun, because I'm running out of time. My hunt is coming up quick. So I need to finalize a load and start putting my energy towards getting the optics set up and ready to go. So this video, big bust. TAC and 223 with my gun and these bullets just did not work out. That whole bullet difference thing, I can't believe they'd pull that crap. Like that was a significant difference between those bullets. Luckily I didn't have, you know, a load I really liked with one and then had to switch over. I don't know, maybe it's not much difference at all. We didn't really see. Let's see if we go back here. I think this was this is where we switched over. So it's not like the velocity changed much or the group sizes changed much. So maybe, you know, maybe it's not a big deal, but that's just not very good as far as lot to lot consistency goes as far as I'm concerned. So this video was a bit of a waste of time. What I think I'll do next, I think I already mentioned, I want to load up some more of these bullets with AR comp because this is my best hope at this point. I want to load up some more here in this range and we'll verify what we saw before. If we can hold 1 inch group, I'm going to call it good enough and go ahead and use them. I think I'll also maybe load up some Match Kings. I've got some Sierra Match Kings left over just to make sure my gun hasn't gone stupid. Something wrong with my gun, something coming loose. I don't know. So maybe I'll load up a few of these just to maybe shoot a good group or two in the next one to rebuild our confidence in the gun. I was looking at some other bullets. If I want to go ahead and switch bullets, my choices are a little bit limited. Most of what I've got in 6.5 millimeter are match bullets. I do have some 95 grain Lehigh Defense Controlled Chaos bullets, but I've only got 100. So if I wanted to work up a load with these, I would need to try to get it worked up in the least number of bullets possible. So maybe we'll shoot a few of these just for the heck of it. What I've also got are some 120 grain, some Barnes TTSXs, the tipped TSXs, and some of their TAC TXs. They're the same bullet. I was looking at them, looking on their website. All of the numbers are exactly the same. The dimensions are exactly the same. They're the same bullet. I don't know why they package them in two different, under two different names, but they seem to be the same bullet. So I've got 100 of those. So that's what I'll do in the next video. We'll load up some more Accubonds with AR comp and verify the accuracy we saw in the last video. See if we can keep it at that. You know, if it's going to shoot an inch, I'm going to call that good enough, and we'll go with that. I'll also load up some of these Lehighs. Maybe we'll load up 25 of the Lehighs and 25 of the Barnes, just to kind of, just as a little exploration, see maybe one of them shoots lights out, and we'll be able to switch over to those. Maybe I could order some more real quick and get them in quickly, but that's kind of where we stand. I wish I had some of the Hornady SSTs, the 123 grain SST, but I shot all of the ones I had, and it's getting a little bit late to order more in. So, all right, that's it. I will see you guys next time.